Hey guys, my name is Rose, and today I would like to do a little bit of animation. So the challenge that I've set myself is to do a really quick piece of animation based on a sound effect that I'm going to create with my mouth. And that sound effect is going to be a kind of a swoosh, pah, badum. I want my character to kind of do a nice interesting little bit of a slide backwards into a bit of a jump. It's going to hold for a little while. As he starts to fall down, it's going to kind of go from a really inward sort of pose, explode out, and then the badum is when he lands. So let's have a look at this. So I set up this scene before. This is Mr. Buttons, a really cool character. I will add a link to where you can get him. I'm using Maya 2017. And if I scrub through here, you'll see that I've already got the sound in. Cool, so I'm happy with that. Now, before I actually get into animating this guy, what I want to do is I just want to kind of block out the movement, okay? Really quick, really kind of dirty. So what I've done is I have created a little proxy version. So this is basically a proxy version of his torso, of his body. I'm going to be animating that using an FFD lattice. I'm going to be animating that along this trajectory line. I'm doing this basically so that I can fit in a load of the correct timings, the correct sort of rough positionings and the staging. I've already set up a camera. So here's my camera, and as he does a little bit of a jump, it's going to pop up here. It's going to start to do that fall. As I say, he's going to explode out of it during the pow. From that, he's going to move down and land. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm just going to get in there and start animating this lattice. Okay, so stupidly, when I was animating this, I forgot to record all of the sound, so I'm going to have to do this afterwards. The first thing that you'll notice is that this is very much sped up. I didn't want to show you an entire 20 minutes worth of animation. So what I want to do is I'm grabbing hold of the lattice deformer, and I am literally just animating that to where I think it should go. I'm animating along the spline. I'm rotating it as I wish, and just getting a good sense of where I think the pivot should be. I'm listening to the audio and making sure that I'm hitting the beats that I need. And once I'm happy with the actual animation, the overall feel of it, with very few keys, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to start doing some additional keys, putting in some in-betweens, putting in some breakdowns. So I added in a motion trail just so that I can see exactly what's going on. As you can see, there are some points that aren't kind of fitting in perfectly with the trajectory that I wanted. So I'm going to go in there and just start kind of cleaning that up. Around this point, I move over into the right-hand view. Now, the reason why I do this is that I'm not actually swaying with this animation away from the x-axis, so it just makes a lot more sense just to look at it from one position. I've also opened up the graph editor, and here I'm kind of moving around some of the keys, shifting it around, offsetting some of the keys so that I've got pretty much the motion that I really want. Another thing that's quite important to me is making sure that the spacing and the timing is correct. Here at the top, he has like a bit of a hang moment, and then he starts to fall down, and then at that point really kind of sharp out into another hang moment before he starts to fall properly. And so it's important to make sure that the spacing up at those top parts is kind of favouring that up part, and then when it comes to the sharp pow out, that explosion, that needs to be really kind of quick. So right at the start, I wanted to make sure that as he does that swoosh part, he's leading with his backside, and the jump is very much a butt upwards sort of motion. So that was quite fun to animate. Okay, and so by this point, I'm really quite happy with it. I'm just doing a little bit of polishing it off, tweaking some keys, making sure that it's all feeling good. But yeah, by this point, it's looking good. And then this is the final kind of outcome for this part. Okay, so everything's blocked through, and yeah, I'm quite happy with it. And so the next thing that I wanted to do is, what with having the lattice in there, is go in and tweak little bits. So this part involves creating C curves and counter C curves. So basically points where you can see him kind of crunched up, and points where you can see him really kind of like stretched out back, and also adding you know, a lot of stretch and squash in other parts. So as he's going up, as you can see here, a really far stretch. As he reaches the top, he goes back into his normal position, and then as he kind of squashes down onto this middle bit, I'm going to really squash him down, and he's going to explode out into quite a bit of a stretch, back to a normal position, and then a bit of a stretch for as he comes down to the bottom. And I give him a little bit of a bounce towards the end there. Cool. So this is what we ended up with. Cool. And as you can see, just the idea of having that nice little stretch as he kind of leads with his backside up into that initial jump, that really kind of helps the flow of this animation. Cool. So the next part is to obviously go in with the character and start kind of tweaking him around to fit the animation that we've already done. So yeah, that'll be in the next video. So for now, just want to say cheers for watching, and yeah, goodbye. Quick little shout out before I go. The music for this episode was by an artist called Shindig, and there should be a link available in the video. Check out the stuff, it's really good fun. But yeah, cheers.